Today we're going to design a digital vision board. Let's go ahead and get started. Hey y'all, welcome back to Dots and Beyond. My name is Beth, and today we're going to do something a little different in preparation for 2023. We're going to design a vision board using the app Canva. This is my digital vision board for 2023. I have already set it as my computer background. It's got a little bit of everything on it that still has that feeling of an old school vision board cut and put together with pieces of a magazine. So we're going to hop over to the web version of Canva. This is Canva. I use it for an awful lot. You can see down here on my recent designs, we have my vision board as well as my latest thumbnails that I have worked on for my YouTube videos. Now, I do use the Pro version of Canva. Now, what is Canva? Canva is an app that allows you to do many of the things that some of the more complicated softwares allow you to do. You can make video, you can make images, you can do social media posts. There are so many different things that you can do with Canva. They've actually just added this Docs very recently, so you can have Google Docs or you can have your Docs now in Canva. It is very user-friendly. The learning curve is not very high if you are used to using any sort of digital tools whatsoever. So let's go ahead and look at some of the things. Your plans and pricing are up here. There is a free version of Canva that has a lot of the bells and whistles in it. There is also the Pro version, which I use because again, I do use it for this channel as well as some other things in my personal life, and I've had to tap into it for my work as well. Then they also have team plans. This is built for organizations and companies that need more than one person on a specific account. You can use Canva for free, or you can use the Pro version. You can download it to your iPhone, you can download it to your iPad or tablet, you can use the desktop version, or I also have the app on my Mac, so I don't even have to go to Chrome to use it. I can go straight to the app and everything syncs beautifully. Now, if you're not a designer, here Canva asks you, what do you want to design today? And if you would like to design a video, it's going to give you some ideas. It's going to give you some templates. If you want to design some social media posts, again, you're going to get some ideas and you're going to get some templates. You can also go over here to templates and search. From a lot of them, we're going to search for vision board, which I've already done. And here we have a lot of different templates for vision boards. If there's one that you super love, you could take it and modify it for yourself, or you could just use one for inspiration to get started. The one thing you do need to look out for is this little crown right here. Any of these templates you see with the crown are on the Pro plan. Those that don't have a crown are free. So this one's free, so is this one, and that one. So as you can see, there are a lot of things that are on the free plan. You don't necessarily have to tap into the Pro plan, especially using Canva as an individual. We're going to go ahead and hop over to my vision board, which I already have pulled up here, so that you can see how this is set up. And we're going to start one from scratch here in just a minute. I'm going to click on this resize so that you can see the size that I have set up for this particular document. And I did this in pixels at 1920 by 1080, which is the size of most screensavers. Not all, but it is a good starting size for building a digital screensaver and knowing that it's pretty much going to fit. You might crop a little bit off here and there, but otherwise it should work pretty well for you. If you know the actual pixel dimensions of your particular device, then you can feel free to put those in. Scrolling down, because I have created a vision board and then printed it and put it into my journal. If you want to see that in action, that would be the beginning of my 2021 journal, and I will go ahead and link that up in the cards above. But here we are with some common bullet journal sizes, and you could create a document with the millimeters or the inches. If you want a one-page spread, this is the size that you would use. If you wanted a double spread for your vision board, the height would remain the same, but you would double the width. So let's see what that would look like. Just as an example, back on Canva, you just click up by your initials once you create your account, create design, custom size, and hopping back over real quick, 190 millimeters by 250 millimeters. So we could change this to millimeters, put in 190 by 250, create new design, and you have the B5 size where you could create your vision board and then print it and paste it in. Now for a B5, you probably have to finagle how you print it and put that in. An A5 would then print on a smaller scale so that you'd be able to get that in a little bit easier. We're not going to keep that one right now. We are going to stay here and I'm going to add another page here. Now what I have done here is I do have a colored background on my vision board. And to change this color, I just didn't want it to be stark white. That way it blended in a little bit better with any of the pictures that I had. So here you see a little bit of that background poking through. Here's a little bit of that background poking through. You could of course cover it up all of the way, but in order to change that color for the entire background, you see this little color block that's the same color. You just click on that and change the color that you want to change it to. Now what you can also do is, if you know the hex code of a color that you are looking for, you can very much click here, copy paste the hex code from someplace online and get the color that you are looking for. For this one we're going to go, well, it's a little dark. We'll go with this color right here, and that will be our background color, and I can always come back and change it later. Now the other thing you need to look at are these over here, the ones for individual use right off the top. The main thing you're going to use are elements, and over here in the elements are many things that you can look for or search for. Up here at the top they have a whole list of things already. Obviously these are things that I think I have already searched for. These are things that I have recently used. Here under lines and shapes you can click see all, and you have squares, circles. There are shortcut keys for some of these things that you would use regularly. If I hit L, I'm going to get a line. Up here you can change the color of your line. I'm going to go ahead and delete that line. You can hit R for a rectangle shape, make that any sort of size that you are looking for. So we could put a frame on this if we wanted to. Clicking here, you can make it have no color, you can give it some line weight, and you can change the line color. So everything's very simple and adaptable. You can do the same thing with a C and get a circle. So once you get comfortable in Canva and learn how everything works, there's definitively ways that you can work a little quicker. We're going to go back on our line elements, and we are going to search for lioness. I had a picture of a lioness on my board. Why not? We'll look for lioness. And here you can, graphics are going to give you all the graphics. Some of these are GIFs, they will move. Photos, you can pull in videos, audio, frames, charts, anything that they have for lioness will pop up in here. We are going to go ahead and pick this lioness right here just because she seems to match a little bit of our background color. You could make her blend in a little bit more. So let's talk about manipulating these images. Here is a transparency, so we can fade her in a little bit and make her blend in a little more or not. Position, we're going to use this a lot to move things forward or backward. These are your shortcut keys if you want to learn them very quickly. And then over here you can do things like edit image. So we could remove a background. There's lots of different filters that you can add. Again, some of these do require the Pro version, but you can change the coloring a little bit if you would like to do that. Lots of different things that we can do. Let me go back into this and go back to none. There's lots of different things that you can use to change color, add effects. Nobody needs a bad TV effect. I don't know why that one's in there. Color mix, trippy, slices, a lot of different things that you can do with an image once you have it on the page. One of the other things that you could do instead of having a solid background is actually just search for a wallpaper. So if you wanted a neutral wallpaper and go to photo, you could start with any of these neutral wallpapers. Let's say we want to use this one right here instead of our colored background. You can drag it or pull it on either side. If you pull from a corner, you're going to enlarge. Pulling from the little straight tabs brings it right down to the regular size. Double click on it and it is going to pop into our background. So now we have this sort of textured background instead of that solid color. Back over to the elements and let's look and see if there are any quotes that we want to add. And I'm going to show you how to pull in your own here in just a little bit as well. So again, we can click on graphics. That's going to give us little quotation marks. Sometimes we do have some graphics that have some cute word art on them. If something like "you can do it" is something that you are looking for, or "never stop trying," always a cute quote. May not be the one for you, but we're going to go ahead and stick it there. And there's also photos that have quotes on them. I have no motivation today whatsoever. Me too, Canva. Me too. But we do have lots of other choices here as far as quotes. If you want to use a quote, "Life begins at the end of your comfort zone." Not terrible, but I don't necessarily want all of this on here. You could always hit crop and grab these little corners and trim off part of that image if you did not want the whole thing. Double click and resize if you need to. Okay, there we go. The other thing that you can do is bring in other images fairly easily. Switched over to the app. It was having a hard time remembering my settings when I was trying to use the web version, so here I've switched over to the app. I am going to pop over to the web and we're going to talk about royalty-free images for a minute. We have two websites pulled up here. One of them is Unsplash. The other one is Pixabay. Both are great locations for royalty-free images. You can search both of them. I'm just going to look up quotes and see what we find. Lots of pretty imagery on different types of quotes. You can search by word, you can search by color. You can change your colors here if you are looking for an orientation of a landscape or a portrait, or if you are looking for a black and white imagery, if you want a completely black and white vision board, which is always stunning in my opinion. We're going to borrow this arrow just because it makes it feel like we're going in the right direction. There are lots of different ways that you can get this arrow into Canva. You can download it, save it somewhere, and then upload it into Canva, going back to Canva and clicking on uploads and upload files and selecting where you want that particular image to come from. To make it a little bit easier on you, you can simply just copy this image, go back to Canva and paste. And for me, I use the copy paste control keys, but for this purpose, we're just gonna pop it right in there. And then see, it also shows up over here in your previously loaded images, which, as you can tell if you've been watching my videos, most of mine are related to my current content for Planmas. So that is a way that you can bring in an image from Unsplash or Pixabay. Let's talk about the difference between the two really quickly. In my opinion, they both have a lot of great imagery. If you are using this like I do on my website, I will use Unsplash. I do give the creator credit on my website for that and link back to the image and where I got it, whether I got it from Unsplash or Pixabay. If you're going to download an image from here, it will pop up a little thing asking you to give credit. Let's see if I can get it to do that. There it is. There's the shout out. So you just have to copy this photo by, and it'll immediately, you can copy and paste it into wherever you need to give credit on the internet, which is one of the things I definitely appreciate because we like to give creators of all kinds the credit they deserve. Over here on Pixabay, however, they have great images as well, but Pixabay has more graphics like this or this than Unsplash does. Pixabay has a lot of photoshopped images more so than Unsplash. It's definitely noticeable in categories such as fantasy. So here I've looked for fantasy and look at all of these great images that have popped up that have been photoshopped by various creators, and I just think they're fantastic. So that's sort of the difference between far more realism and Unsplash. You still have the realism in Pixabay, but you also have the fantastical elements if you are looking for them. I am going to hop back over to Canva and we are going to just put together a vision board, and then we'll show you how to download it. So I am going to speed things up and let's see what we get. gonna stop the time lapse here for just a second. Did neglect to mention that you can do your own text, which should be pretty obvious. Over here on the side, we have a text button. They have some pre-filled in designs for you that you can choose from. Of course, again, some of them are the pro, many of them are free. I always love this one for some reason. I don't know, I just love that font. But you can also just add a text box. And when you add a text box, you can grab the corner to increase the size of your text, or you can go up here, increase, decrease, or just type in the size that you know you want it to be. And you have lots and lots of fonts to choose from, and you can search for fonts like it says by looking for calligraphy or cursive, and it'll bring in lots of different fonts for you, and it automatically changes it. If you have a lot of fonts on the page, if you're working on a big project and you suddenly decide you want to change your font, after I change this, you'll see down here it says antic to feeling passionate. You can click change all, and it'll change all the fonts on your page for you that were antic and make them this feeling passionate font. Not quite sure why I picked that one. And then to change your text, you just type in here. We are going to use the Mary Shelley quote that I used in the Bujo on a Budget setup, which is the beginning is always today. Obviously, you do not have to use the same font all the way through that. You can combine fonts, squish fonts, do all sorts of things with them. Now that I have this one here, there's other things that you can do with these fonts. You can change the color. So we're going to make that color. You can, depending on the font, you can bold it or italicize or underline. You can center it in your text box. All of those orientations, align left, align right, align center, justify, all in this option here. If you do need to make bullet points, you can do that as well. Different types of bullet points, back to the beginning. And then here you can squish your line spacing together, or you can spread it way far apart. So if you wanted to do the and then leave a space and do beginning in a different font, you could put it in that way. I'm going to bring those back together. You can also mess with your line space or your letter spacing and bring those to and from to make them a little tighter, or spread them out if you want to do that. So you can also add your own quotes if you can't find a specific quote that you are looking for, or there's a personal phrase that you want to put in. I am going to sneak this up here onto this typewriter because I've just seen it and thought, hey, that's a great place to put it. And we will go back to the time lapse and finish building out this vision board. I'm going to stop the time lapse one more time, I think. We'll find out as I go through these. This is a graphic that I pulled in. I'm not graduating. I'm not heading towards graduation. I figured somebody else might be. It'd be a good thing to put on a vision board. But some of these graphics are very much editable. You can change the skin tone of this individual. If you wanted a darker skin tone, let's go with that one. You can change the hair color of this individual to whatever hair color you want to. So all of these things are editable to an extent based on whoever created the graphic and how they uploaded it into Canva. But they do often give you these options and they tell you exactly which color you're going to be changing. So this is going to change all of the reds, the black will change all of the blacks, and so forth. This one I'm going to leave alone for right now. I don't know, maybe we'll give her some pinkish sort of hair that matches our design a little bit better. There we go. Back to the time lapse once more. Okay, and with a lot of zhuzhing things around, changing things, changing shapes, changing our ideas, just have to play with it to get something that you kind of like. This person obviously is going to have a lot of major milestones in their life. I kind of just started thinking about every major milestone you could have, from career to buying a new car to getting married, all of those fun things, graduation, all in one vision board. But of course, a vision board is a very personal thing to you. I love the fact that we can do vision boards digitally now instead of cutting up a whole bunch of paper and sticking it on a poster board. But man, if that is still your vibe and you want to have those as a visual every single day, feel free to do that. Once we have this ready to go, we can then download it, and there are several different ways that you can do that. You're going to hit the share button and it's going to give you choices. The one you're going to go for, unless you really want to kick it over to social media, the one you're going to go for here is download. And when you download, you get lots of options. I did a PNG because it's clearer, easier to read, and I was using it digitally as my wallpaper. For you, if you want to print and put this in your bullet journal, you're going to go to PDF print and download it that way. For now, we're going to do that and click download. It takes it just a minute to figure out what it wants to do, and then it's going to ask us where we want to save it. And once you save that, then you can print it as you would like to print it. If you don't have a printer at home, you could have it printed at an office store, Office Depot, those sorts of places, Staples. Here in the United States, any sort of office store you can get that printed for. Even Walmart will print it for you, and then paste it into your journal, or like me, you just upload it into where you want to have it digitally. So I actually have a version of my vision board. See, and there it goes, it pops up. This is downloading as a zip file because there's 3 pages on here. There's this one we made today. There's the sizes that I was using for description. And then of course there is my current vision board. You would just download it, upload it where you want to, or print it as needed. And that is all you have to do to create a vision board in Canva that you can use in multiple locations. You could actually design one of these for your wallpaper and then take all of the same elements, create a new document that is in the size of the bullet journal if you want to also have it in your bullet journal, and then just rearrange your elements so that they fit into a printable size for your bullet journal as well. That way you would have all of the same imagery. I hope you found this tutorial a little bit helpful. If you have not used Canva before, or if you're wondering what the big deal is and why we all seem to be using it, this will definitely help you out. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you in the next one.